The business of medicine has hurt things terribly. When I was in medical school, I had the experience of being in an emergency room when a mother was brought into the room. Her husband and child had been killed in an auto accident. She was hurt. Her other child was barely hanging on, and they asked her if she was insured. I consider that a crime. I quit my medical training in my residency because I wouldn't put up with that kind of behavior anymore. I couldn't work there. That wasn't what I didn't have any of those dreams in medical school. Medicine as a business is wrong. It'll never be right to make medicine a business.
I was one of those kids that threw spitballs growing up. I was a goof. I was a class clown in my youth. What happens to class clowns when they grow up? Well, I think they fit it into their life.
I want to drive home the point that you are a sack of water.
There's an atmosphere thing that we're trying to create that is happy, funny, loving, cooperative, and creative. And of all of those things, if you don't have humor around human suffering, it will burn you out.
This next elixir, in some literature, is reported to be the best medicine. Of course, I'm speaking of vitamin F, fun, laughter, humor.
The people that get burned out, they're not having fun. I'm having fun with people. Medicine is just part of the greed umbrella. Why people think a doctor should be any less greedy than a auto mechanic or anybody else, I don't understand. Greed has infected our society. It is the worst infection. And we are a pie in the face of greed. We are taking the most expensive thing in America and giving it away for free. Not for $5, not for $1. We are giving it away for free. That's our statement right there. We've gotten large and small donations. Last month we got our first $100,000 donation. We have over 1,000 foundation rejections. We have gotten our support from people. What our whole outreach is right now and why we're not seeing patients. We cannot put the time into patient care and fundraising care. So all of my effort is spent in media work, in writing letters, in going around the country lecturing and saying, you say you want to address the healthcare issues, do it. Here's a group that wants to give you free care.
The AMA News this last year said that the allopathic care, straight medical care, cost $500 billion a year, and they project by the turn of the century it'll be $1.5 trillion a year. Medicine has become big business. Medicine is no longer a service, it is a business, and the people in this business are making a huge amount of money. We are profiting greatly from human suffering. You know, when you carry malpractice insurance, what you are telling that patient when they walk into your room is, I don't trust you, I'm afraid of you. So you are entering the relationship of your professional career in fear and mistrust. Who here operates well under a context of fear and mistrust? You see, when you're a family doctor and somebody comes to you with a problem and you get the signs and symptoms laboratory and then you get the cookbook thing to give. Everyone across the country is giving that thing for that thing. Forget the person. Well, there's still going to be a huge number of dissatisfied people. What is this? Why do people go? If they can go to a real doctor like me, why do they go to a chiropractor or acupuncturist, a homeopath or a naturopath, a massage therapist, body work, a counselor, a palm reader, astrologer? Why do they go to those people? No one's forcing them. And the fact is, if you interview them, they've often, in most cases, gone to an allopathic physician first and then came back and said, well, they didn't help me, so I'm going to try something else. Well, what I did is I went in all those practitioners' offices, and I found miracles in every single one of them. I also found just as much greed and power, just as much greed and arrogance about their particular system. But with every system, I found great and wonderful practitioners, and every one of those did great medicine. So for the last 17 years, we have used our hospital as an experimental station for any kind of healing you've heard of, probably. From faith healing to ugga bugga. I mean, we let anyone come in with a technique, and if they would let us watch and not charge any money, we would let them do their thing. We have experimented with people in most fantastic ways. Never have we had any litigation, and we could have been sued every day for the strange things we did to people. People come from all over the world to help us build. They pay their way there and work for nothing. We've had people from over 15 countries.
Okay, where are you from?
Belgium.
Belgium. Okay.
We ask people to come there at least a week, all ages, all level of skills.
I think I'm making an investment in a way of life that will carry me through. I was married for 10 years, and then when my marriage ended, I pretty much decided that I didn't want to put so much effort into a small unit like that. I felt like it would be much more practical to invest in a group situation, a community of some sort, because it wasn't so dependent on one relationship.
He was doing something that he called orgone research. See, Wilhelm Reich is responsible for the whole body-centered psychotherapy movement in this country. I've been trained as a body-centered psychotherapist, which is basically combining body work with psychotherapy or counseling. I also dabble in psychic healing. I really believe in the connection between mind, body, spirit, emotions, and not on an airy-fairy level, but on a real clear, obvious, everyday level. I mean, someone who's very angry tends to not breathe and holds their air in. And if you can get them to release their air and to start breathing, then you can also get them to release some of their anger. I feel that our world is based so much on suffering that people get all of their juice from suffering. That's what they do with their relationships. They suffer. That we really need to make a shift into a happiness paradigm. You can say the world is so oriented towards unhappiness, and we need to move over to having a good time. Like, hey, it's great to be alive. It's wonderful to know you. Isn't it a wonderful planet? I'm having a great day. It's so nice to wake up this morning and be alive. And I think we have to consciously make a shift to happiness, to joy, to being thankful to God, the universe, that we're here, that we're given these wonderful bodies and this wonderful planet.
I'm really interested in thinking of healing and never thinking of cures. I have the belief that all illnesses and all disease can be healed, bar none, AIDS, cancer. And I have not personal experience, but I know personally people that have done those sorts of things. I won't say that about AIDS, but I certainly know people that have had AIDS for much longer than the acceptable lifespan. And I believe that all illnesses can be healed, but I do believe that people sometimes refuse to be, meaning that there are lines at which sometimes people just won't cross or things they won't do, and everybody has the capability of healing themselves. So what I wish to be involved in as a healer here is exploring all those avenues and really being a part of the whole process of helping somebody find their own health and their true center.
If it's an acute arterial bleed or some kind of acute problem, you have to think quickly, go in there and do something quickly and act on it. But most medicine is not something you have to act on quickly. Doc, I've been having this for 6 months or 10 years or whatever. And so, well, that sort of thing you can try. Let's try. The feeling is, for me, is if the patient's willing to, let's try a really gentle, inexpensive treatment first. Homeopathy, naturopathy or something may be the thing that solves the problem or sets things in motion that solve the problem. And if that can happen without surgery, then great. Always have the surgery, other kind of treatments available for when the gentler things aren't the solution. We make much greater sacrifices by not following our dreams and by following our dreams. And I'd like to put in a plug for people when a dream passes their consciousness to grab on hold of it and to shoot out there for it, that however outlandish it is. We're 17 years into this hospital, and there are some people I'm sure that still now believe it may never get built, but it's not the hospital that is the dream. The dream is to follow one's dream.